Hi guys, I am Serenity Dewan and I thank you for clicking on this video. For a couple of weeks I've been really wanting to make an up-to-date testimony video on how my life has been these last couple of months, and just show how God has been pouring into my life, his presence, him forgiving me for all these sins I have committed. I don't want to make it too long, but 2025, the beginning of 2025, I was on fire for God for Valentine's Day and spreading the love of Jesus with friends, and I was really busy. Like, I was going to church maybe 3 days a week. In 2024 I got baptized, and in 2025 I just was trying to, I felt God's presence, I felt his love, and I wanted to spread it with others. Though there were times, I did like fall into sin because I had a habit of seeking men when I wanted like love or like validation. And then one day, like, God, made me feel like that I didn't need that. 2024, there was a person in my life who I met on a date app, and they helped me bring myself to Christ, and we got baptized together. And then 2024 we had ended up breaking up. Well, we were broken up for a couple of months, and then I couldn't get over this person. I couldn't get over this person. No matter how I would try to cope with talking to other people or whatever it was, I couldn't get over this person. So I decided to seek God and ask him if this would be my husband. So I asked God multiple times, and there were multiple confirmations. One day I was in my room, I was crying, and I had got to a point where I stopped asking God, like, oh, this is my, I stopped. But I was in my room, I was crying because I had found out some things, and I was just like, God, like, is my how's my husband even gonna want to be with me? Like, all of this stuff I was praying. And then, I kid you not, I have this guy, he doesn't even like be on social media like that. We weren't like, he didn't have an Instagram or anything like that. And the whole time we were broken up, I never seen him on any platform. So after I stopped praying, I went on Instagram, and the first thing I see was him on Instagram, like at our church. And he stopped going to this church. Like, I haven't seen him the whole time. I see him on my feed, and then maybe 2 3 days go by, and I have this dream of his mom, me in a car, and a baby, and it was like a boy. He was about 6 months, and then I think she was saying like, it's time, like he's coming back. It was something like that, and it felt so real. And then I remember telling my one of my friends, I was like, I feel like something's about to happen. I feel like something's about to happen. Not necessarily to do with him, but I just felt it in my spirit. So I think that week happened to be Easter, and I go to Easter service, and he is there. It just felt like everything was, like that. Like, God was, confirming what he said, time after time. And then that week, it was just, my spirit was so heavy. And then I think a couple days go by, and then he texts me, and from that point it was really, history. We end up talking again. It felt like no time had passed by. Like, when I kid you not, it just felt like we were like we've been together the whole time. Like, it just felt like that was my other half. And yeah, it felt like no time had went by. It just felt like everything God was telling me was coming together. And I think um Father's Day, actually, he ended up proposing. And then we had a lot of issues with like family and stuff being involved in our relationship, and I was like really stressed. And we decided to get married under God, make a marriage covenant, and we had someone ordain our ceremony. We had, you know, two witnesses. I mean, we were at church, and that Sunday we ended up going downtown, and then we didn't know what location we wanted to do. He was just, I've never seen him have like this much confidence, and he was just knocking on doors asking if we could use their patio area, beautiful area. And we he made it work. He found a way, and we ended up getting married under God. We said our wedding vows, and then after that, you know, boom. When people say when you get married it's not going to be easier, they definitely are telling the truth. I definitely was in a state of wanting to, be controlling. I definitely was there, and I was just on him because I was just like, I want you to lead, I want you to lead. But like, it's just like, this is new for both of us. We're 22 at that time, I don't know how to be a wife. He doesn't know how to be a husband. We don't know how to do these things. This is all new to us. We love God, but I could see, looking back on it, a lot of the times where we actually didn't have God in the center. We might have said we did, but I could definitely see now that we didn't have God in the center. And it brought me back to Genesis, where it was saying in Genesis, like, it will be like in your nature to want to control over your husband. And I was like, whoa. And then how the man, tends to always, want to hide. Was it Genesis chapter 2? It brought me back to that. And I definitely see how, from Eve, things just come to us in that way. But yeah, I loved my husband deeply. I still do. But a couple months go down, and I ended up finding out I was pregnant. And let me just say, we weren't living in the same household. We were planning on moving together in January for many reasons: school, money, all of these issues. And that I was also a planner, so like, that's why God has been working through me to tell me you don't need to plan everything, because I was literally planning everything, like everything. I ended up finding I was pregnant, and um before I even found out I was pregnant, I felt like my husband was going through his own battle. It felt like a lot was weighing on him. I don't know if it was the marriage. I don't know if it was his faith. I don't know if what it was, but I could sense it. And, you know, I would try to pray for him, and it just felt like something was weighing on him. Like, especially the week before I found out I was pregnant, it felt like I was like slowly losing my husband. Um, so then when I found out I was pregnant, I was filled with fear. I kid you not, so much fear. I took the pregnancy test. I was like, it's going pretty slow. Like, the line is coming up pretty slow. And then the two red lines came up, and I instantly texted him, um, I'm pregnant, and I sent him the picture. He thought I was joking at first. Lines come up, and instantly I am filled with fear. Nothing godly is in my mind. I think it's God does not give you the spirit of fear. That what I was feeling was not coming from God in no way, shape, or form. And at that time, I didn't know. I also was like falling behind from reading my Bible. I did not know anything. I knew about spiritual warfare, but like, I didn't know it in depth. But I was filled with fear. And I felt like he was trying to calm me down. Like, oh, by the time the baby's born, like, we'll have it together, all this stuff. And the first thing that came to my mind was not keeping the baby. I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna finish school, because we were both in college at the time. He was set to graduate end of that year, and I'm set to graduate in 2026, but I just was filled with fear. I was thinking of what our parents would say. I just was filled with fear. And he was just like, Serenity, like, we're married. Um, like, I felt like the first day he was really trying. Like, I feel like he was trying to speak positive words, but I definitely could see him being overwhelmed because he was already overwhelmed before we found out we were pregnant. But when I found, when I told him I was pregnant, oh, I definitely could see he was overwhelmed. And I think like the next day or 2 days go by, it was like one of the days like I didn't hear from him all day. And this is when I get into my pregnancy. I felt very alone. Like he could be here, maybe, but his presence wasn't here. Um, we were going all day without talking to each other, and be on FaceTime at night. Like I could sense he like really didn't even want to talk to me. It felt like um, I I felt like I, definitely lost my husband. And there was a time where I was starting to be happy about the baby. Like I got the app to see like how the baby would look, not look, like how many weeks you are. And then I was setting up appointments to, get an ultrasound. And I remember going back, we were about, on FaceTime, and then going back inside the house, and I asked him questions, and he was answering them with a whole bunch of I don't knows or no. And I was just like, do you want me to go to this appointment tomorrow to go the ultrasound or whatever? And like I remember him like being like no. And I was like, okay, tomorrow I will be going through with abortion. Because we were like, it was definitely like talked about. And like I said, when I first found out I was pregnant, I just was not, I was filled with fear, and I was crying every night. I didn't feel supported. We didn't tell family at the time. It's just I felt scared. I know he felt overwhelmed. It was just all new. But like a lot of like the first thing that was coming to my head was like I the Bible verse, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. That kept coming up in my head. And the next day I did what I told him I was gonna do. He didn't believe I was gonna do it. I did it. I was by myself. Um, the most painful experience ever. A lot of people on the internet videos I was seeing said it feels like a period. Oh, it's simple or it doesn't hurt at all. That is a lie from the pits of hell. That felt like I was dying. It felt like death. I went through contractions. I went through, though my baby wasn't like fully developed, I went through the stages of like giving like early birth. And then after, that's when reality set in for me. I got the next day, I instantly regretted it. Instantly regretted it. And even after, I felt even more alone from my husband. So, I think 2 weeks went by, and it was like a Tuesday, I remember, and I was just like, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him. I texted him, I was like, I just need space. That's what I said. I was by myself. I was home by myself, and I was severely depressed. So much so that like I thought I was like attempting and making plans to, end it all. I was literally in this spot crying, to God for my baby to still be here. Like in ways I've never cried before. And I couldn't go an hour without crying. I remember going to like an interview and then coming back home, and I was still bleeding, and it like the fetus was in of the baby was in the pad, and whoa, I just remember holding it for probably about an hour, just in like the pad, and I was just like, this was like very unreal to me. And for a while I thought like of like, oh, like I just feel like the only reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like it can help somebody. Before coming to Christ, I was pro choice, and then when I came and got baptized, that still carried on with me. And like I'm like, well, it's her body, why not? And then um I kid you not, and I hate that I had to get to this point in my life, but to realize that pro-choice should not be an option. But it happened, and here I am. But I really want no woman to go through what I went through. It is traumatic. I cry and think about my unborn child every day. Every day. It'll be 4 months next month of what we decided to do. And my baby is supposed to still be here. Um because I've always wanted to be a mother. So I don't know why when I took that pregnancy test, that thought even came in my head. Like, even being little, I used to always want to be a mother. I really, I don't know. I don't know. A couple weeks went by, and my husband decided like he didn't want to. He felt like a lot of this was getting a little too real for him when I found out I was pregnant, and then he had a lot of resentment towards me, towards the apartment and all this stuff. Um, so I definitely see in scripture where God was like, he never designed for there to be divorce, but only because of the your hearts being hardened. Definitely see that. Um, I definitely feel like he had a hard heart towards me. Um, and he decided this isn't what he wanted. It's a decision we decided to do together, not keeping our child. I did not want to step away from my marriage. I did not want to do that at all. Made a covenant under God, and sometimes I feel like I, disrespected God for not honoring his covenant. Um, I have repented. I have asked for forgiveness, and I have renounced and denounced the blood covenant that was made when getting an abortion. Because um, when you do stuff like that, that is a demonic covenant with a density or a spirit named Moloch. It's all in the Bible, and I found all of this out after, living through it and going through it. So now, 3 months going on 4 months later, I am just able to not wear my ring. I stopped wearing my ring 3 days ago. Let me just say, the actual ring he proposed with, I didn't have it, but it was another ring he gave, like, to work out in. I would wear that every day because I met mentors and people in the church who were telling me that I need to I made a covenant under God, and that God will restore. About a month after my husband decided he wanted to not, be involved in this marriage, I got I think one my first ever prophetic word towards my marriage. And that's when I started getting like obsessed with prophetic words, which I do not recommend. I mean, I wasn't getting a lot at all. I mean, I asked for prayer, and then the lady told me what she told me, which I don't feel like I should say on here about my marriage. Um, and then I felt like God had provided me a community. One day I was crying in the shower, and then my now coach, my mentor, she popped up in my head, and then I went to go book a call with her, and then she was like doing a live thing talking about marriages. So then I end up meeting with her, and until she knows literally everything, and she was just telling me how this is more so spiritual and all this stuff, and to stand for my covenant that I made vows under God, and I was doing so, and I was praying for my husband and all of this stuff until probably a week or two ago. I just had like a bad taste in my mouth, and I was kind of over a lot of things. For a while, I was just overstanding because, like, you can't really stand for somebody who literally told you, like, I don't want to come back. That's literally something you cannot do. But I was seeking wise counsel, and all my wise counsel is telling me, like, what I should be doing. Like, I'm trying to listen to them, and I'm trying to listen and honor God and, stand firm on the promises He gave me. And I'm gonna be honest, within the week I probably stopped standing. I did fall away from God, like reading my Bible. Um, but today I asked for forgiveness, and I wanted to make this testimony video, um and I prayed, and it's like every day is a battle. Like everything I say on my channel is literally something I'm going through or I went through. It every day is a spiritual battle. I fell into like depression to where I was just like in my room, isolating myself or going like all day without eating. Um, and God literally has been pulling me out of that a lot. Like I was able to go out yesterday for my birthday and spend time with my two good friends. I have been reading my Bible so much. When I mean I understand so much in the Bible more, I just been in my word heavy. Um, that's why I think I made a reel about like do not make vows with God and don't follow them through. Like I made vows in front of God and I'm really trying to follow them through. But right now I'm in a place where I have surrendered that marriage to God. Now, a person can say whatever they want to say. Look, I don't, they can say whatever they want to say, but I stand firm in God having the final say in any and every situation. I know people are like, oh, we have free will, we have free will. Yeah, we have free will, but like Jonah didn't want to do what God told him to do, and he got swallowed by what the whale or yeah, like so um I feel like I'm in a place where I kind of really, not kind of, I just want what God wants for me. I really want to be a woman that follows the Bible and represents Christ. And like, I want to be a wife, the wife that is talked about in the Bible. How God teaches us how to be a wife, how to have a meek spirit. I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to be any of that. And I know how Satan puts um puts husband and wife together to argue, and in the time we don't see it, but it's really Satan trying to cause division in the marriage, and he wants us to be unforgiving and have a hard heart. Like he wants that because he knows eventually like we'll get to a breaking point and it'll break us. But I'm in a place now where I've surrendered all my sins, all my fears, guilts to God. he has blessed me so much these last couple of months. I have a job. I wasn't able to get a job for a couple of months. I have a great position. I am finishing school. I'm set to graduate in May. Um, and I'm on to do the things I said I was going to do with my husband, but now I'm doing them by myself. I'm planning to, get my apartment. It'll be my first ever apartment by myself. Though I really wish I could be doing this with my husband, I have to move. Now, I can't be suffocated in that. I can't. Now, whatever God has for me in store for me, it will come. Um, but I do know what I want now. I know what I want in a church, which God has revealed to me what church is the church I need to go to. I know what I want to be in a woman, a friend, a wife. I know what I want out of my husband. I want a man who truly is set on Christ. Um, and whenever God brings that, it will come, and maybe I could be making a testimony video or video with my husband, and it can, but I just these last couple months I have had time to reflect and realize what I want, what I don't want, what I want to become, and what I need to not pull into my life anymore. I no longer care about my nails. I don't care about how I look on a video. That's why most of these videos, I have a bonnet on, or my hair is, it doesn't matter to me because God doesn't care about that stuff. So I don't care about the stuff I used to just really feel like, oh, I need to wear this, I need to look like this. And it was a lot of it was for male validation, or me thinking my husband might like it, but I don't care about any of it anymore. I feel like I can come on here with messy hair and a hat and pajama pants that don't match with my shirt. I don't care about it. Um, he just had me. I just had time to reflect. I've been learning a lot about the spiritual realm, how demonic covenants are formed, how stuff transfers from the bloodline, um, addictions, abortions, marriage curses can transfer in the bloodline. All of this is more spiritual than we think, and the Bible talks about it. So I've really been learning a lot about that. I have been reading great books. My mentor, she talks about it. She's been teaching me about it. I have my pastor, he talks about it. So like God has been like aligning everything to come together. Now, as far as like love life and all that stuff, I really do want to have a family, or even though I did what I did. And I think a lot of people think when you decide to do that, like you don't want to be a mom, or like um or I don't know what people think, but I've had like a lot of grief towards that decision I've made. I shouldn't have listened to the fears in my head, or I shouldn't have like been looking at the actions of what my husband was doing or not doing. And regardless of the situation, um I shouldn't have done it, you know. um but I know God has forgiven me, and it is my deepest desire to be a mother, um, and be in a two-parent household, and love them and show them Christ. This whole situation has just brought me further to want to seek Christ. I kid you not. It has. I have been praying longer. Maybe not recently, but God, within these last 4 months, God has been teaching me how to pray to Him for like an hour. I've been praying for my heavenly language. I haven't gotten it yet, though. I've seen it in the spirit. I haven't gotten it yet. Um, I've just been trying to intercede and pray for others. I didn't know like a lot of things you're supposed to do as a wife. Like you're supposed to be an interceder. You're supposed to be a watchman in the spirit. And a lot of the things that I'm nagging to my husband about, it could simply be something I come to God in prayer, and come to the face of God and let him work it out spiritually, and then let it manifest into the physical, which I didn't know. I didn't being a wife isn't about just cooking, cleaning, or whatever. It's about, being that helpmate. And um, you know, but I do remember after um being separated from my husband and all that stuff, I God kept putting in my wife, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It kept like replaying in my head, playing in my head. And like with a lot of men, I really don't like to speak on the men's side, because that's for, I don't know, maybe later I'll get comfortable with it. But men, you can do so much in your life, but when you find that wife, she will bring so much favor into your life. Like God literally says it. But like, you could be starting a business, and once you get, you find that wife, because when you find a woman, she doesn't become your wife at the altar. She's already a wife. She's married to Christ. She's already, God has already been shaping her and forming her to become a wife. So when it's God ordained and it's set by God, you will gain so much favor. Your business will flourish. And I'm not saying like just for uh you'll find peace. She'll help you be more like Christ. She'll, you know, want you to grow like a more intimate relationship with God and all of this stuff. So, like, marriage is about holiness. We think it's about joy and happiness. Yes, that's a bonus, that's a plus, but marriage is about glorifying God and representing Christ. The devil hates marriage so much because when the marriage covenant is the strongest and the first covenant ever made with Adam and Eve. And when a married couple comes into prayer together, when two are like, when they're in agreement, that is powerful in the spirit. I don't People fail to realize it's so powerful when a husband and a wife come into prayer in agreement and actually have faith together. So Satan really doesn't like a godly unity, because there are some marriages that are very demonic and are of the devil. But it's just, he destroys marriages, and he'll try to destroy them even when you're engaged. I feel like a lot of people don't even realize that. Another verse that has been coming in my head was Mark 10:9. What God joins together, let no man separate. So um I'm in a community with a lot of women who also are either standing for their marriage, or there has been something spiritual, witchcraft, or whatever it may be. um God has blessed me with that community. I've been learning so much from these other women, though I am the youngest woman there. But I've been learning so much, and how a lot of similarities, from my marriage to theirs. But a lot of the times you could be hit with divorce papers, you could be hit with all this stuff, and God really has the final say. God might even let that divorce go through, and God restores what God wants to restore. Like, people fail to realize how powerful God is. I feel like people put a limit on God. Um, and God can do and has done and continues to do more than what we realize. That's why when I pray, I'm like, why am I not having so much faith? Like, God literally raised Lazarus from the dead 3 days. Like, he was dead, he was gone, and he raised him up. And I don't have, and I'm like, why don't I have faith in him raising me up when I'm at my weakest moment? I feel like when I make these videos and I be talking to y'all, that's when it really be hitting me. I'm a woman who is just seeking the Lord, truly and honestly. I did try to go back into that rabbit hole after my husband left me. I'm really used to just calling him my husband. But when my husband left me, I wanted to go back into that rabbit hole of finding a comfort piece, not even wanting that person. But God literally stopped it. He blocked that. Whew. He blocked that. God sent me a dream And then I woke up scared and instantly stopped. I wasn't even I wasn't even doing nothing. I'm being honest. I wasn't doing nothing. I was attempting to do it, and God stopped it. And I thought I was gonna go back into my old ways. God was like, "Nope, you're with me. I am your husband." Because you're married to God. You're married to God before you're married to your spouse. But I don't know what plan God has for me in the future. And it's not my business to know. I'm I'm a mind God business while he minds mine and tends to mine. So Tiffany Montgomery said that in the Year of the Bride Fast, and I really love that. But yeah, I've just been trying to learn how to actually fast, because when you're fast, you need to be in your word. Let me say that, because sometimes I would fast and just think I'm fasting and pray a little prayer and cute. No, when you fast, a fast is to seek the Lord, abstain from food, kill your flesh, and be in your word. But if you're not in your word, then it's just like a you're fasting to lose weight or something like that. You need to fast to be in your word. But I've been learning how to fast. I've been learning how to pray powerful prayers, including God's word in your prayers, because that is powerful. Um, I've just been learning so much about God. I went to church on New Year's. That was so great. Being able to be in the church actually on New Year's, and I met two lovely ladies. Um, and I've just been in the face of God. I have not really been entertaining. I have been thinking about it, guys, but like that video I made last time, I really haven't been entertaining anybody. I am simply saving myself. I'm not entertaining in any fornication, any of that. I'm not doing it. I am absolutely scared of diseases, but I am more scared of transferring demons because please guys, this spiritual stuff is so real. Because sometimes when you're in fornication, not sometimes, most of the time when you're in fornication with somebody, you feel like you can't stop. That's because your demon is attracted to their demons. I need to make a up to date video on that. But I'm not doing any of that. God has relieved me and saved me from watching pornography. I don't know if I can say that on here. It's been a month or two. I think no. It's going on 2 months. Yeah, it's going on 2 months. He has freed me from that. That also is demonic spirits. I'm sorry, it's demonic. That scares me. I'm telling you, that scares me so much that when I even thought of, it's like feeding an altar, and when you don't feed that altar, it dims down and it goes dormant. But no, I'm not doing no. Um but I would love to make a video on marriages, because that's another way the enemy tries to cause conflict in the marriage. Because you might have been in fornication with the person before you got married, and then when you get married, not God, Satan will try to stop there to be intimacy, because of course, like he wants you to be in sin as much as possible. He wants open doors. He wants the open doors from your bloodline. He wants demonic covenants so he can terrorize you and torment you. This stuff is so real. Um, but I feel like a lot of people in the church, like churches, don't talk about the spiritual side, the dark side. But we really should be glorifying God more. Like when I got into learning this stuff, I was thinking about it more than you know God's love for us, and I really don't think we should do that. I shouldn't do that. But this stuff is real. But guys, I pray this video helps somebody, a woman who might be going through what I went through, or a man. And please, guys, if you have ever gotten an abortion, or if you're a man and the person you were with got an abortion, even if you didn't want them to, or whatever, even if you took a person to get an abortion, please repent, renounce, denounce, divorce that demonic covenant, and replace it with our new covenant, which is the new covenant is Jesus dying on the cross for our sins, because that is a demonic covenant that tries to take part in the bloodline. So your great great grandmother could have done an abortion and it could pass down to, you know, your future kids, and you don't even know, like, oh, why'd you do it? Like, it's literally something that tries, the same as like drug addiction. These are parts that play a part in the bloodline that try to continue going on for generation to generation. So please be kind. I'm very still sensitive about these topics, but I feel like there's no better time to share this than now. I'm not going to wait 10, 20 years. Um, Please be kind, and be kind to others who have gone through this, because you don't really know why they decided to do this or why their marriage failed. You really don't know. And it's not your business to know. But this is really just a testimony to just help people. Maybe this can help a marriage. Maybe this can help somebody decide to keep their child. And the whole thing about our child and deciding not to keep it, it reminded me of Adam and Eve, and when Eve ate, when the serpent was, you know, telling her all these things to eat the fruit, and how she gave in and she ate it, and then, you know, soon followed her husband ate it. That's what it reminded me of when we decided to have the abortion. When they say that Satan doesn't come up with new tricks, it's so true. um he'll get to the wife to, you know, nag and control over the husband, and the husband will finally get to a breaking point. Like, the husband is the head, so if he can get to the husband through the wife, oh, it's a recipe for disaster. Like, it'll be turmoil oil for sure. But the devil really doesn't have new tricks, and it's the same tricks from the beginning. So when I reread Genesis and I seen that, I was like, this reminds me of what happened with me and my husband. um he got to me first and put all these fears and lies in my head, and then that soon went on to my husband, and, you know, got us into this situation. But that's why I just say, like, for wives to, um we can't be nagging. Like, we can't, what we need to, that's what we need to be doing is seeking God. Because I feel like a lot of the times when we hear submit, we think like our we'll lose ourselves, we lose um our lives, and we're like in a jail cell forever. That's what I thought, because when I heard submit, I was like, no, no. But honestly, we need to learn how to submit to God first. That is the ultimate thing, especially for single women. Learning how to submit to God is key. But um yeah, submission isn't your husband ruling over you. That's not it at all. But also, our men need to submit to God. Your wife is the weaker vessel here. You know, you're supposed to lead, and at the end you'll have the man is you have the um ultimate say of what happens in the marriage and in the lives. You um have a responsibility to take care of your wives and your children. And one thing, I forgot his name, is he's at the Lionheart Church in Georgia. He was saying, like, ultimately you will be judged. The husband will be judged for how he led his wife and his household, and a wife will be judged for how she submitted to her husband. So that put a whole different perspective into my head about a lot of things. So um when because God has been restoring me, purifying me, but when I am blessed to be a mother, um blessed to be, you know, the wife God is calling me to be, I surely will follow everything. This is your guide. to how to be a mother, to how to be a father, to how to be a husband, a wife. This is your guide for everything in life. We don't need to buy um ebooks from people and all this stuff, which that's fine if you do that. But the ultimate thing you need to follow is the Bible, because everything that you need to know is in here. All history repeats itself. It's all been done in here. Um, so this is what I want to follow. If I got a problem in my marriage, I don't want to go to somebody and be like, I'm struggling with this. I'm gonna go here first, and then maybe we can go to therapy later. But like, I'm coming here first. If I'm struggling with how to parent my child, I want to come here first. So that's why I really want to get in the mindset of coming to God first before anything. Um, and I feel like a lot of people should seek God before they seek other people, because also what we fail to realize is we don't know what other people have going on in their lives, what open doors they may have, what sin they may have, because the enemy could be working in them to talk to you and tell you to do something. And I will be a great mom when the Lord is able to, when the Lord blesses me again. I'll be a great mother. I know I will, for sure. um I just have been in a place where I let fear not take over my life anymore. Cast those thoughts down. But guys, I love you guys very much. If anybody ever needs somebody to talk to on here, and please shoot me a text message. I don't mind talking to you guys or helping. Of course I don't know everything, but what we can do, if I don't know it, we could um research it in the Bible together. You know, it's good to have somebody there for you. Please don't be isolating yourselves. Please find a local church. Ask God what church you need to be going to, and I promise you, He'll tell you, whether it be a vision, a dream, a person. Like, I asked God what my church was. He sent me 2 dreams of my pastor, and then this week, I end up seeing his wife at the shoe store. So God will tell you what church He wants you to go to. But I love you guys very much, and Jesus loves you guys more.